clearly stated that the decision followed a mutual agreement to terminate his services, marking a leadership transition at the electoral body. The IBC's Marjan's departure brings to an end to his tenure at the commission and initiates the process of recruiting a new CEO and secretary. What the commission clearly stated is that this will not affect their operations ahead of the 2027 general election. What they are even alluding to is that given that he left office months to his, of course, contract ending, it was a timely move to ensure there is seamless procession, especially when it comes to the conduction of the IBC general election. And of course, joining me to discuss the events at Anniversary Towers and what it will portend ahead of the 2027 general election is none other than Peter Ndubai, the chairman of a DP party. Chairman, karibu sana.
Thank you, thank you.
And we also have Jedi Ahao, a governance and policy expert. Jedi, karibu sana.
Asante sana, thank you.
And maybe before we introduce that particular link of the chairman, let me start with you. Your reactions yesterday when you saw Marjan leaving.
Well, for me, it really highlighted that, there could be an issue here because the IBC might not be as prepared as they may be making it look like, because now with the CEO who is really in charge of the secretariat and implementing the decisions that the IBC Commission makes. So it makes us wonder as the public, are they really prepared? What is actually going on? What is the internal conflict, or what is really happening for this to happen at this time? So I'm waiting to see how this unfolds, and hopefully we can have more clarity within the coming days. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get some clarity, of course, given that the chairman is currently speaking. Chairman, let me get your thoughts on that as well.
You know, United Opposition, they have been pressing that Marjan should go home. You know, when you lose confidence with the people who are supposed to discharge election, then we under so many challenges during 2022 general election, 2017 election. We under those challenges. And those challenges, once we lose confidence with the people who are managing them, then the election is not it will not be true and fair. That's why there was a lot of pressure from United Opposition to make that the CEO should go home. He did the right thing because the people in Kenya, they are lost confidence with this discharge of the duties. Yes.
And maybe, Jerry, moving forward, how should they address this? Because they will be appointing a CEO who will be on an interim basis, and then, of course, a substantive CEO who will ensure that we are prepared well for the general election. Maybe what should be the critical move to restore what the chairman is talking about, confidence?
Okay, for me, when I look at it, I already feel that already because we see the IBC did not have commissioners up to last year, 2025, when then we had the commissioners appointed. I already feel that already there's been a lot of stalling. So with this move, I don't know if it will bring reassurance back from the IBC from the Kenyan people, but I look at it like it can really interfere with the preparation for the upcoming elections. So I want to just see the steps that the IBC is going to take next and hope that management and the upcoming CEO can pick up speed and continue where the former left it. Yeah.
And given that you clearly stated, Chairman, that the United Opposition have been talking about Marjan, now that he has gone, what should be the process look like for IBC? Same questions that I've just asked Jedi to restore confidence.
You remember even the commissioners. The commissioners are the main people.
Yes. During
an election. When they were elected last year, people are not confident because there were no involvement on most of the political parties. Political parties were not involved. During the selection of the commissioners, but now there was nothing else to do because you cannot stop an election. We found that we United Opposition, we found that to stop an election, or not to support commissioners, it means that we won't have a general election in 2027. That's why people decided to agree to agree the commissioners who were appointed. You remember, most of them they were told they were President Ruto's commissioners. They are not Kenya's commissioners.
But we cannot confirm that.
Yes, it's not the dream, because they were not. They are supposed to involve other people, other political parties during the election. So still, I think commissioners can discharge that duty, but they should take appropriate to appoint another CEO as soon as possible. Yes.
And of course, if you're just joining us, we are conversing on what transpired yesterday at the anniversary towers. Right now, I'm sure you're aware that Hussein Marjan is no longer at those offices, given that he exited the commission. And also in that particular statement, Jadi, they clearly stated that nothing will be interfered with, especially coming to the by-elections that will be held this month. In Isiolo, we do have one, and in various wards. In terms of ensuring that those election processes are not interfered with, what should the Ethicon-led commission do to ensure there is transparency in those by-elections that are upcoming this month?
Definitely, there has to be steps that have to be taken. The first thing is, I think the IBC really need to come out and definitely disassociate in the sense of from the government influence, because we saw in the last by-elections what happened. Government machinery was used. There was a lot that very many people came out and said that this and this, that the government had a lot of influence to influence how the by-elections went. So for me, I would really like where we can see the IBC really, be independent, make sure you play your role, get, let the definitely there's some processes and things that need to be done, and I really hope they can be done before these by-elections so that we can see the readiness and preparedness that they have towards also the upcoming 2027. This will be, yeah.
And now let's head over to that particular speech that was made by the IBC chair himself, that is Ethicon. Let's get to hear the reasons behind the exit of Hussein Marjan and the preparations towards the 2027 general election.
To you as our stakeholders, the religious community, the civil society, the media, and even other national institutions that participate one way or another in the electoral processes. Because in elections, we have, of course, the security system, we have the observers, we have the political parties who bring us the candidates to contest in the elections, and we have so many stakeholders. We have the judiciary. So what we are doing this year is to ensure that all stakeholders give an input into our blueprint for the 2027 general election. And it's therefore in that respect that I invite the Evangelical Alliance Bishop to be part and parcel of crafting that blueprint for the 2027 general election. And we want to expand beyond just having a blueprint that will capture the administrative and operational aspects of the elections. We want to have a blueprint that will articulate and include the roles that each one of us will play in the next general election. We want to see what role will the religious community play in the next general election. What role will the media play in the next general election? What role will the security play in the next general election? Civil society, information. So there are so many stakeholders that we want this time to bring on board. When I was appointed with my colleagues, the first few weeks, everybody was telling us, oh, we are praying for you. You know, you people are in trouble. We don't know whether to pray or to congratulate you or to cry for you. And I did say, Look, as Kenyans, we gave ourselves the Bible, you know. I remember Reverend Dega saying, the evangelicals believe in the supremacy of the Bible. Kenya, 2010, we gave ourselves a document called the Constitution. The Constitution of Kenya, 2010. And we say in terms of the hierarchy of laws in Kenya, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is the supreme law. And in that supreme law, we said, we the people, sovereignty belongs to, and therefore that sovereign power, which I've seen also reflected in your presentation, that sovereign power, which belongs to the people, and it is inherent in the people, it is that power that now the people donate to institutions of governance. One of the key institutions is the executive, led by the president. The other one is the judiciary, led by the Chief Justice. The other one is parliament, led by the two speakers. Then in chapter 15 of that supreme law, we have the independent offices and commissions. So the people of Kenya donated their sovereign power. They said, okay, we are used to having the president, the judiciary, and parliament. But for one reason or another, our elections, we don't want these people to have anything. We want to have an independent electoral and boundaries commission, chaired by who? A chairperson, and for now it happens to be me. Okay. Then, of course, the other commissions that are there, the Human Rights Commission, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. So there's a reason why this architecture, governance architecture, was designed that way. And the people allocated each one of us specific responsibilities. And then they put therein accountability mechanisms. They said in chapter 10, that these are the values and principles that will govern ourselves. There must be transparency, there must be accountability, public participation, inclusivity, non-discrimination, the rights, the human rights, observance of human rights. And so in all that arrangement, we have to bear in mind that whatever we are doing as IBC, we are doing it on behalf of the people. Because we can't, you can't get any power in vacuum. It is the power that belongs to the people that they donated to us. But they also said in that constitution that this power, they exercise it largely directly. Okay? There's direct exercise of that power. And do you know where that direct exercise of that power comes from? It comes from elections, right? So when we registered 27 million Kenyans, that's almost slightly above the 50% of the Kenyan population. That's the adult. Unfortunately, children cannot, anybody below 18 cannot vote, right? So those of us who are adults, because they say for some strange reason that it's those who are above 18 that have the mental capacity, and therefore the adults, they can get a driving license, they can make decisions. So 50, those of us who are 18 and above make decisions on how this power is exercised. And they exercise it directly through elections. Then the other one, of course, the indirect. So they tell you, Parliament, you can do one or two things. But if you refuse, we can take back our power through referendum. Okay? And they can reorganize everything. They can even remove us as independent commissions or, disband everything. So it's the people who are at the center of all this. So as IBC, we are preparing for the next general election, well aware that it is that forum, that opportunity, that through that election, which must be credible, which must be transparent, which must be believable, and above all, which must be peaceful. It is through that opportunity that Kenyans now express their will to elect their leaders, right from the president to the MCA in the village, member of the county assembly. So we are taking it seriously, and that election operation plan, Bishop, must reflect that people are the center, and we're exercising their power, and we are facilitating them to make their own decisions on the leadership and governance of the country. So one of the key elements of that election operation plan is voter registration. We must prepare a voter's roll that meets the integrity thresholds. A voter's roll that reflects the true figures of actual Kenyans who are eligible to vote in the next 2027 general election. So we're in the process of doing voter registration. We launched it. I think some of your members were there. Where is Reverend Parit? Yes, he was there. And when we are restarting the exercise, we went to a remote village called Mashuru in Kajiado East, among the pastoralists there, and he prayed for us to restart the exercise. So far we are doing well. 200,000, I think, Commissioner Andiritu. Yes, but we are not really worried because of the low numbers. What you call continuous voters registration, is based at the constituencies. And you know the many challenges our people have to access our constituency offices. But that is not the end, because our plan is to roll out what you call mass voter registration in the month of March. So I think that exercise will begin 29th March or something closer there. And it's true that.
Well, that is the IBC chairman just giving us a status update on their preparation to the 2027 general election. He has talked about the voter registration and their target of 27 million Kenyans to participate in next year's general election, from the presidential level all to the member of the county assembly, to ensure that there is seamless operations within that particular office and the election itself. But I want to get the thoughts of Jedi. Jedi, you've just heard the chairman currently speaking.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts on his sentiments.
Oh, well, I mean, he has talked about the preparedness of the IBC, how ready they are. We're talking about a rollout on voter registration, which is very important. So for me, it seems all is well. Things are going good. So let's continue seeing how things are playing out.
Chairman?
Yeah, you know, when we are speaking, we explain everything, but we don't implement it. Ukiangalia kama IBC, they are supposed to do civic education,
Yes.
which is never done. So that when we go to election, people can decide which is the best candidate. That part of civic education has never been carried, I don't know, for so many years. So that that's why most of the voters, they are misled. Tukiangalia hata saizi, we are told the numbers of people registering, especially the youth, they are very, very few.
Yes.
We need to encourage. Why are our youth not registering? Why are they not taking part in election? We need to see what is happening so that we bring them in, because every Kenyan must be in during the election so that they elect the best candidate for Kenya. Yes.
But Jedi, for example, I know you're running for a seat of a member of county assembly. Is it not upon you, aside from IBC, to tell the people what you can do for them? Because at the end of the day, IBC may tell you, yes, this is the right candidate.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the voter has the decision to make it. So what is the missing link? Do our aspirants not sell their agenda better?
Well, I've been an aspirant, and I mean, you can try as much as you can to sell your agenda, but I agree with Mr. Dubai here, who says that there's no enough civic education. The IBC also plays a part, and there's some roles that they have to also, you know, play in also promoting the candidates, the people who are standing once they've been, you know, and also bring to the, more like to the people, to tell them more about the civic education that he's talking about, bring more exposure to it. So also for the people who are running, you really have to go and get out there. It's not just enough to say that, yes, I'm running and this. You really have to go the extra mile, which is the grassroots, I believe. Many people these days are just top surface and are not really touching the grassroots as it should be, I feel. Yeah.
And the chairman, because those are the concerns that are being raised by the locals down there. They're saying some of the candidates who are vying for this, we don't see them. Then why parties such as yourself not instituting those measures to ensure the aspirants sell their agenda?
We always encourage them. But let's say I'm a candidate in Itiania West. I've been there. The resources I have will not be enough to go around to sell myself. You sell yourself first before you even sell people.
Yes.
What is best for them. You try to sell yourself. When the Electoral Commission sells the agenda of civic education, they'll tell what qualities do you look for during an election, so that the people make a decision when they are going for election. Like now we are going by election in it is this month that
yes,
even
month.
better now. We have two vacancies better.
Yes.
We have never seen where the government sent even military to supervise an election. That was unheard of.
When did the government send military?
Better, by election.
Which by election?
The by election, which was last November.
The member of parliament?
Yes.
We were there. We cannot ascertain if the military
I was there. That was
there.
My candidate.
Yes,
that was my candidate.
But we were also there.
Yes.
Yes.
There was military vehicles.
No, we cannot ascertain that, sir. That is something we cannot ascertain because you see, we were there. We covered those by-elections. The military were not inside. The military cannot interfere within matters to do within the country.
Yes.
Theirs is to protect our sovereignty outside the country, but we were there. The presence that was there was the only National Police Service, who are mandated to not only protect the voters, the candidates, but also the IBC officials.
No, I think I was there.
Okay.
I was there.
We move on.
That was my candidate. Yes, and I took part during that by-election.
Okay,
we
back
knew
to the voter education.
Yes. You know, Electoral Commission is the one which can reach more people. Because when you are in an election and you start selling other things, people don't believe you. They say you are selling yourself. But if another party sells people what qualities of a leader, then they will listen.
But Chairman, you see, the question is, as an aspirant, before even IBC comes, because you knew you were running for that particular seat, you know the people down there. Why don't you sell your agenda better as opposed to waiting for IBC and other, even the party that you represent to come and sell your agenda?
We do it every time. We do it every time. And we try even to get meetings. We organize a small meeting. Kamukoji, you go to church, you explain them what's the best candidate you can select. You don't sell them yourself that time. You have a meeting, you have a funeral, you tell them people, look for the best candidate for yourself. Yes, because your vote matters. It's not my what I tell you. If I'm fighting for a member of parliament, like I'm doing in Tigania West, people will not listen to me when I tell them other things. If if you are selling yourself, you sell yourself better. But if you tell them, oh, this candidate is not better, this is not good, it is up to the people to decide which candidate is better. And mind you, when civic education is very tricky. You try to sell yourself. You oppose other people. Because campaigning is selling. You are selling yourself. Yes, you are selling yourself. You are not selling the other party. But if there is another party, IBC, they will tell them the truth. This is the quality to look for. And mind you, we are born in that area. People should know what kind of a leader you are. If you are not a good leader, they already know. So they know your character. They know your abilities. They check that one also. Yes, but you know there are other influences during an election. You know, Kenya, we have become money-minded. Money play a big role in our election. If you don't have a lot of resources, people will come and the other resources, and they follow them. That's what is messing our politics in Kenya. Money. People come with tuliambiwa some time back, hata wash people. Kuna wakati parliament ilikuwa na wash watu wengi sana wash because they have the money to spend. We have so many good people in Kenya, good quality Kenyans, but because they have no resources, they don't win the election. We leave them out. Yes.
But you see, at the end of the day, JD, when you're selling your agenda there, Chairman is correct, whatever he's saying. At the end of the day, yes, it is upon your party and the organs that are supposed to sell your agenda as well. But you as a person, when you knew you wanted that particular seat, what difference are you bringing to that particular area? And maybe tell us some of the challenges that you go to as an aspirant as well.
Okay, as an aspirant, one of the main challenges is the financial, because it's really expensive to run for any election seat. So as he has said, even with the party, you might be in the party, but the party is not really dishing out money to, you know, especially to, at that point I was running for MCA. You're not going to find the party that it's really going to come to all the MCAs in the country and going to say that because you're running for this position, I'm going to give you this much. So you face that financial challenge. Also the challenge that he said that I really agree with is the ground. The ground, the people have become so money-minded. So many places you go, nobody wants to listen to you. They want to say, how much can you give me? What is it I'm gaining from even sitting here when you organize a meeting, maybe within somewhere? What am I getting? So even for small meetings where you're trying to sell yourself and talk to the people about the changes and what you can try to do, they expect you to pay for that, to pay for their time to sit down and listen to you. So those are one of the main challenges I faced. And also another thing that I also faced as a woman who is running is there's a lot of gender bias when it comes to women who are running for office. You'll be asked sometimes by some of the people on the ground, are you married? Things that they'll never ask a man, but they'll ask you as a woman. And you're like, how does that come into play with what I'm trying to do? So those are part of the challenges I faced here.
And let me elaborate. Most of political parties in Kenya, they don't have money. I think it's only two political parties, HONDIEP and HUDA, who have get all the government money. Other parties, they don't get anything. So you go campaign on your own. You have a political party, but they are not funded by the political party funding. So you're on your own. Yes.
Okay, and also, Chairman, because you see, even the chairman of IBC is currently raising an issue. The youth of this country, you know what they advocated for back in 2014 and 2015. But the figures of people who are going to register with the IBC is very low. And maybe this is a curveball for you as the chairman of not only that particular political party, as an aspirant as well. What will you do to ensure the youths of Tigania West and the country at large come and take those voters' card and make their decision?
We encourage them throughout, go and vote. And remember, most of those youth who are involved in Gen Z 2024, most of them are Kibaki generation who went to free education.
So mean they're educated?
Yeah, they're educated, all of them. But what is happening them, they have lost hope. They have lost hope with the leaders. We give them promises. When we reach there, we forget about them. That what disappointed them. I'm supporting this one. We got promises. He never did anything. This one, indeed, he promised us so heaven and hell. He delivered hell.
But this is the chance.
Yes.
2027 is coming.
Yes.
As a Tigania West aspirant, what will you do to ensure those youths pick up those
We
votes?
encourage them. When I have an opportunity, I speak to through the radio, they listen to radios,
Yes.
this TV like this one. I always tell them, get your vote. The vote, what matters is who people. You have a vote, you have registered as a registered voter, and go as elect somebody who can serve you better. Yes.
And of course, going forward, because we're entering almost the final leg of our conversation, maybe going forward, what would you like to see, not only you as an aspirant, but the voters down there? What would you like to see from them? Because at the end of the day, yes, they might get those civic education, they might get the opportunity to understand all leaders that are currently presenting their agendas, but the vote lies with them. Maybe what will you do differently to ensure that you outwit your competitors?
For me, I think the biggest thing that I would do is definitely really go into deeper grassroots campaigns, which is not just waiting when your party is having big rallies and you go and speak on the stage. It's more about taking time, going down to the grassroots, connecting with them one-on-one, hearing what they want, what changes they would like to see, and taking accountability for that, taking account of that, and trying to, when writing my manifesto, include some of the things that I see that they're saying. So for me, it's just deeper connection with the grassroots. I believe if I do that, and I have a clear understanding of what the ground is saying, then I can have an advantage over my competitors. Yeah.
And maybe, Chairman, tell us, in Tigania, what are you going to sell that differently from your competitors? What have you seen are the real issues facing the people of Tigania?
Give them hope, give the youth hope, give the people hope. If they trust you, they'll do what you are telling them to do. You know, we don't promise without delivering. You have to promise what you can deliver. But most of the politicians, they don't deliver what they promised. That's what is causing disillusion with our people. We need to give them what we can deliver. And the Tigania people, I don't know, development is not there. Most of our youth, they are not getting employment. There are no roads, there are no hospitals. Those are the things you tell them, we can do it together if you elect me. Yes.
And maybe tell us, Jedi, the same. You just heard the chairman clearly stated what he will do for the people of Tigania, especially when it comes to development. So maybe as a member of County Assembly, and hopefully you could see even the ward representative could be getting a fund that they will be using within their respective wards to ensure that they deliver on what the chairman is talking about. So what areas are you going to focus on?
Okay, for me, first let me just clarify. I will be running for Nairobi Women's Rep in the upcoming elections. So for me, my issues that I really would like to focus on is about women and youth empowerment, because right now we see, you know, the youth, there's such a big disconnect and lack of trust from the youth and the government. So for me, that would be one of the key points I want to focus on. Things that help women, children, you know, all those things that I'm going to definitely expound on my manifesto. But yeah, those are the touching things.
And of course, if you're just joining us, we're keenly focusing on the IBC as well as what it will portend for not only aspirants but not you viewer who will be going to the ballot boxes to elect your next leadership, because you see the leaders you elect at the end of the day is a true reflection of who you are. Those are the sentiments that were made by people, key stakeholders who have been following on this particular matter. Also, I want to pick the minds of my guest here, given that there are people who are calling for a referendum. They want the 2027 general election to be held in concurrent with a referendum, given that the constitutional timelines, especially with the IBC and the 2019 census, a matter that is currently before the courts, is currently being conversed there in the corridors of justice. What will it portend? And maybe, Chairman, is it high time we go for referendum and review the constitution itself?
No, we can't go to a referendum at the same time with the election. These are two important events in Kenya. If we mix them, maybe people lose the direction. We need to focus on one. It's general election 2027. We finish the election, then to end if the referendum is there, to end kwa referendum. No, najua outcome ya referendum. I think Kenyans are annoyed now. They are annoyed with their leaders. They are annoyed with the leadership. They can take drastic action. We witness JC in the demonstration. This thing is still cooking somewhere. People are not happy. People are not gaining a livelihood. High cost of living. These things are still disturbing. They are within us. They are disturbing most of the families. We should not forget that Kenyans, majority Kenyans, especially the youth, they are disparate. They can do anything.
Okay. Jenny,
yes.
Are you of the same view?
Yes, I agree with Chairman on that. Right now is not the time, definitely, for referendum or referendum talks. We have the general election coming up in 2027. All our focus needs to go there. I also feel that right now, let us strengthen already the current constitution rather than talking about a referendum. And also within the people, there's the fear of, there's been talks of extending the presidential term, and that can only happen through a referendum. So there's a lot of fear here and there. So for me, let us focus right now on the coming elections. Let us put all our effort there. And after the elections, then we can bring up referendum talks. Yeah.
And because the issue was raised, Chairman, by not only the chair of IBC, but the political section of the political class, they're saying this will cure some of the timelines that IBC had missed to, of course, honor. We start off with the boundaries delimitation. You heard what the chairman said last week. They will not be introducing any constituency because it will be too late to introduce a constituency or a ward, which will not only be unfair to the aspirants who are vying, but to the residents as well, given that the resources will be shared the same way. And the 2019 census, especially for the northern part of the country and other parts of the region, it was nullified because it had issues. So in terms of curing these particular issues, how should it be cured aside from referendum, if you have any view?
Referendum is not the cure. When we elect people, when we elect leaders, they should serve the people. Unasema referendum, it was brought by some people for their own benefit, not for the benefit of Kenya, for their own benefit. Maybe they want to extend their life in parliament. They want to extend their life in leadership, not because they want to help Kenya. The Kenyans, they know that. Those people, you remember we started to extend a 7-year term.
Which was rejected by the Senate?
What was rejected. I think they want to bring it behind the need. When you go for a general election and a referendum, things people won't pay particular attention. Things can be sneaked in without knowing. We need to be very careful.
Okay.
Yes.
And then let me get your final view and, of course, motivate your voters not only in Tigania but the whole country at large, given that we are concluding our segment. Let me start with you, Jedi. Ladies first.
So my Final view. My final view, or what am I talking to? Sorry, my final view?
Yeah, final remarks.
Okay, my final remarks.
A minute at least.
Yes, my final remarks right now is for Kenyans and all Kenyans right now, we really need to take this upcoming elections very seriously. We need to go and register, especially the youth, because they have such a loud and big presence. They're the majority in this country right now. So we need the youth to come out and register so that they can make a change in the upcoming 2027 elections. Apart from that, I look forward to everything, and yeah, thanks for having me here.
Thank you for your time, Chairman.
Yeah, I want to appeal to all Kenyans. We remain united. This is our country. We have no other country.
Yes.
Let people take votes. The vote is what determines the next government, the next leaders, everybody, especially our youth. They started in 2024. They started that revolution. They should not let it die. Through the vote, they will determine the destiny of our country.
Yes.
Let everybody get a vote and vote. And good government. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. That is none other than Peter Ndubai, the chairman of DP Party. Chairman, thank you for your time, as well as Jedi Ahau, governance and policy expert. And we wish you all the best as you try to seek those elective positions. And of course, that has been our discussion. But quickly, given that the IBC chairman spoke a while, we want to take you back there, given that he spoke about not only the preparedness, but the future of the commissioners and the commission itself, given that it is set to serve Kenyans in the 2027 general election. Let's hear more from the IBC chair.
Exercised properly. And I am calling upon you, the religious community, the interfaith. Those changes we are making, just know that we are doing them in good faith and in the interest of the country. And you should pray for us. You should pray for those changes, that these changes bring, success to all of us. So even as we recruit the new CEO, Madam, I think you're the one who raised your, yes, it's you over there. We are going to do that in a transparent process. We will send the TORs out there. The terms of reference of the CEO are in the law, so we don't invent them. They are in the IBC Act. So we'll extract them. We will make sure that with the support of a reputable institution or firm that has the human resource experience, they can be able to guide us to, we advertise it, we get qualified, suitable, experienced Kenyans, and more importantly, those who are passionate and committed, and those who are willing to risk their lives and their reputations. Because even in this case, you see the way some headlines there, basically trying to drive a different agenda about our former CEO, who is a very serious professional in this country. I will speak the truth. We agree we will speak the truth. He's a serious professional. He has rendered his service to this nation, running a number of elections since 2018. 2015. He has been in this high, very hot seat as a deputy CEO and later on as a CEO. And he has rendered dedicated, selfless service to this nation. And we thank him for that. And therefore, we shouldn't invent things that are not there to try and character assassinate or malign him. Because it's not there. And it's not fair, even for you media, as much as you are looking for stories to sell. Look at the individual as well and the harm you can cause by peddling rumors and innuendos and imaginations. If there is anything, the truth shall always come out. For the process of recruitment of the next CEO, we will ensure that it's transparently done, it's professionally handled, and we get the final CEO, the final candidate who wins fairly, and who will help us to steer the commission and the country to the next election of 2027, and of course beyond, because we also needed continuity beyond just the election. Election, you see, IBC, if you interpret the mandate, we do much more than just supervising and conducting an election. We have boundary delimitation to think about in the next now and after the elections. We have legal reforms. We have many things. So therefore, the earlier we get a new CEO and settle him down, or him or her, hopefully it could be her. Let us pray for that as well. The moment we settle that new CEO, then we are looking at another cycle of about 5 years. Okay, we are also new, so we want to begin to socialize, to understand the management styles and strategies, so that then together as a team that has gelled, that has bonded, we can actually achieve the various milestones that Kenyans have given to us to deliver. So I'll leave that at that. Thank you. There's the issue of the politician saying, where's the reverend? There's the issue of these clients of ours called politicians. They like to say many things. Some that are good to them, but some that are not good to us as ordinary Kenyans, as voters, as citizens. You know, the problem with this country, Bishop, with all due respect, is we have given so much premium to what the political class says and does. If a politician says something, we are glued to it. Every Kenyan is like, you know? But when a religious leader says something, well, that's religious, you know. But when a politician says something, we believe almost it's the gospel truth. Sometimes we insubordinate even our supreme guide, the Bible, the Constitution. We insubordinate this to the political rhetoric. So if we can, and that's why you see, even sadly, they have invaded even our spaces of worship. Yeah? When politicians come to church, they are given the premium spot. Yeah? He becomes first among equals in the congregation. Yeah? He becomes the first congregant. And then we give them the airtime to say whatever they feel like. And then we believe in that. And then we start worrying about that. Because, of course, the nature of politics is you have to say some things. You have to convince yourself that you are going to win by this number of votes, whether 1 million or 2 million or 1 vote, okay? And the others, because you want to send a message to your competitors that, look, I'm stronger than you. So for us, well, we hope Kenyans will be understanding that that is just but mere rhetoric. Okay, that's the nature of their trade. And therefore, we shouldn't worry about it because our system, as I think Commissioner Anderetu was explaining, our system from registration, we are among the few countries globally that have a digital registers. I was in India last week, and we met with 43 electoral management bodies, some of them from Africa. You meet countries, Sierra Leone, Zambia, they don't have the things we have, like the things we have in this country as electoral management body. Okay? So we've built a system over the years that is like foolproof. And I've stood here before during the post-by-election review, and I said, it is impossible to steal elections in this country. Right from the voter registration process, we have a digital voter register. You don't walk into a polling station and just vote. You come in and bring your ID, your identification card. We have to identify you with your biometrics, and now we've been upgraded to iris. If the fingers fail, we scan your face just to make sure you are that voter that will come and determine the fate of your country. And then from there, in a polling station, this is not the first time you are accredited to be observers, right? You have observed previous elections. We have observers in that polling station. We have party agents. Every candidate has somebody to look for their, to observe and to watch for their vote on behalf of their candidates. Then we have our media, which is vibrant. They're everywhere. There's no place in this country will go without. Sometimes they want maybe some space and privacy. Then you find they're still there, even in the remotest part of the country. So there's the media also watching. So there are so many things that happen there, and the systems that we've put. And then the laws have said, and the courts have said, the final results will be counted at that polling station. Then what we do is just to compile them and then announce. So when politicians talk, just please don't lose sleep, because that's the nature of their trade. Concerning the issue of registration of porous borders and what have you, of course, some things have been said about that. But what we do as IBC is we use the national identity card to register you. 2 documents, the ID, national ID, and your passport. We don't even use the driver's license, right? We don't even use your birth certificate. We use the national ID and passport. And therefore, with all due respect and without prejudice, any Kenyan, any person who has those documents and comes to us, we will register them. So for us, that is our position. And we believe by the time you get those documents, you must have proven that you're a citizen of Kenya and you qualify to get those documents. So thank you very much.
Sasa jibu lake sio? I think before I give my answer, I have some of our 2 fathers, their hands were lifted. I think if they don't give them an opportunity, I might be in trouble when this. So Bishop Kefa and Bishop John, if we can have those 2 questions. Yeah. And Bishop Adoyo on this side. I think we'll take one more lady. Can we say we take one more lady? So Bishop Kefa, Bishop John, our father on this side, and then let's give an opportunity to a lady. Any ladies? Okay, going once, going twice. Let's take the gentleman at the corner there as our number 4. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Bishop Gibson. One of the questions I wanted to ask on behalf of church leaders who are here has been answered. I'll go to a recommendation, and I have 2 recommendations. Number 1, following what the chair has ably articulated about
Michael Christopher Kijana Wamalo was born on 25th November 1944 in Sosio, a village near Kimilili in present-day Bungoma County. At birth, he was named Michael Christopher Simiyu. He was son of William Wamalo, who served in Kenya's first post-independent Senate. Kijana Wamalo would later become the 8th Vice President of the Republic of Kenya and the first of 3 Vice Presidents who served under Kibaki. He attended St. Joseph's Primary School in Western Kenya before transitioning to Chewoyet High School in Rift Valley Province. In 1962, he joined Strathmore School, where he scored straight A's in history, English and economics, and became the best debater and school head boy. While at Strathmore, he won a national essay writing competition and represented Kenya at the United Nations Student Forum. In 1965, Wamalo received a Commonwealth Scholarship to study law at King's College, Cambridge University. He graduated with a Bachelor of Law degree in 1968. He then studied for an intercollegiate diploma in comparative religions, earning the title Associate of King's College. He proceeded to the London School of Economics and in 1970 was called to the bar at Lincoln's Inn. He returned to Kenya to join the University of Nairobi Faculty of Law as a lecturer. During this period, he also ran his family's farming business in Kitale, served as director of the Kenya-Japan Association, and worked as general manager of the Kenya Stone Mining Company. Omalo made his political debut in the 1974 parliamentary election, running for the Kitale West constituency seat, present-day Saboti. He was 30 and his age worked against him. Detractors dismissed him as too young to represent his constituents and he lost to Wafula Wabuge. But he emerged from that campaign with a new name, Kijana, given by the people. In 1979, he was back in the race with the blessing of veteran politician Masinde Muliro, whose prodigy he was, and he won the seat. He would later be re-elected in 1992 and 1997. As agitation for multi-party politics gained momentum in the early 1990s, Omalo joined Ford Kenya, a faction of the Forum for Restoration of Democracy. In the 1992 general election, he ran for the Saboti parliamentary seat and won. He was also elected vice chairman of Ford Kenya. Following the death of opposition leader Jaramogi Oginga Odinga on 20th January 1994, Omalo took over the chairmanship of Ford Kenya. His elevation was contested, including by Odinga's son Raila Odinga, leading to a protracted party tussle. It was not until 1995 that Omalo assailed his leadership in chaotic party polls held at Thika Municipal Stadium. Soon after, Raila left Ford Kenya and took over the National Development Party (NDP). In 1997, Omalo ran for the presidency and finished fourth after Daniel Arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki, and Raila Odinga. In the run-up to the 2002 general election, he teamed up with other opposition figures including Charity Ngilu and Kibaki under the National Alliance Party of Kenya (NAC), founded in July 2000. NAC worked with 13 smaller parties and later expanded to include Raila's Liberal Democratic Party (LDP) and some disgruntled KANU stalwarts. This transformation resulted in the formation of NAC, which went on to secure a landslide victory, ending KANU's 40-year rule. In the NAC structure, Omalo became Kibaki's running mate and was appointed vice president when the 22-member cabinet was named. Notably, Kibaki did not assign him a ministerial docket at first. His appointment triggered mixed reactions among supporters. Many welcomed it as fulfillment of a pre-election pact. Others questioned what they termed as incomplete portfolio, arguing that without the Ministry of Home Affairs, he was only a ceremonial vice president. Omalo responded calmly, urging his supporters to trust the president. Kibaki later appointed him Minister for National Reconstruction. In that role, he oversaw revival efforts for projects that had collapsed under the KANU regime, including the Nyayo T-zones, the Nyayo Bus Corporation, and the development of a national reconstruction policy. Some legislators allied to him dismissed the docket as featherweight. Omalo, however, showed no dissatisfaction and remained publicly loyal. Unknown to many, he held a special place in Kibaki's inner circle as a trusted advisor, a relationship that shaped the president's desire to keep his deputy's hands relatively free. But Omalo's vice presidency would be short-lived. In the final hours of the 2002 campaigns, Kibaki was involved in a road accident and was flown to London for treatment. During a hospital visit to Kibaki, Omalo also fell ill, and in early 2003 he was hospitalized in London again. After recovering, he returned to Kenya and married his longtime partner Yvonne Nambie in a memorable wedding marked by his Anglophile style. On 1st June 2003, Omalo traveled to Geneva, Switzerland to represent Kenya at International Labour Organization's 91st session, leading a delegation of government officials, trade unionists and employers. After 3 weeks in Geneva, he flew to London for a medical checkup accompanied by his wife and daughter. Omalo died in London on the morning of 23rd August 2003, becoming the first sitting vice president to die in the history of independent Kenya. Jackie Wambiru,
The Cabinet.
It's nice to see you.
I think... our angel is not ready for this world yet. That's why we should keep waiting.
Nataka uongee na vijana wenzako wachukue kura kwa wingi.
A big announcement coming.
Inatuhusu sisi vijana katika hiki kijiji.
Umeng'arang'ara sana bwana Vipi leo unakwenda kumwangalia Matilda?
Wewe mambo hospitalini kabisa.
Na moja natoka pesa ngapi?
Moja ni 35k tu.
Bona usiziweke kwako. Unajua mimi ni mtu wa mashughuli hapa hivi na pale.
Bwana asifiwe.
Nikusaidie vipi?
Hii NGO ni ya Amerika.
Hilo jambo zuri sana.
Unajua siku moja utakuja kunihitaji wewe.
Wapi?
Na salimia dada Monica.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. This second hour will be focusing on a menace that is currently affecting the Asal region and its impact on the country, especially the wetlands. That is drought mitigation in this particular country. Before I introduce my guest, we want to set a context of what we're going to discuss here. Given that there are stakeholders from the Kenya Meteorological Department, researchers and stakeholders within the environmental sector who are meeting yesterday here in the capital. And we want to start with that particular story that was prepared by Jalo Picho, where approximately 2.12 million Kenyans in Lamu, Mandera, Turkana are being affected by the drought-related stress. Let's get to hear from the stakeholders before we look at what is happening on the actual ground.
Kenya is currently experiencing heat and drought stress, with Lamu, Mandera and Turkana counties being the most affected after experiencing failed rains in the 2025 October, November, December short rain season. At the 12th National Climate Outlook Forum in Nairobi, organized by Kenya Met Department, that brought together climate experts, policymakers, academia and researchers to discuss how to focus upstream from response to prevention and readiness.
The UK is currently now working on disaster risk finance.
Acting Director General of Kenya Met Department, Edward Muriuki, in giving the 2026 March, April, May season forecast.
Highlands west of the Rift Valley, highlands east of the Rift Valley and the northwestern parts, we are anticipating average to above average rainfall. The eastern parts of the country, the Asal parts, average to below average.
Noted that the country is not yet out of the woods, especially those counties that had failed and depressed rains.
Average may not be adequate to offset the deficit that is already on the ground because the OND rainfall failed in these areas.
These, even as he noted concerted efforts to ensure early warning alerts are dispatched to the counties.
we came up with the Weather Kiswahili Dictionary. We are trying to translate, because these terminologies we realized we were just talking to ourselves.
Remains committed to working closely with the Kenya Meteorological Department and all partners to strengthen climate information services.
Muriuki dismissed claims of a heat wave, saying above, below, and depressed rainfall is expected in various counties during the coming March, April, May season.
Ili heat wave itangazwe katika mji wa Nairobi, temperatures lazima, maximum temperatures ama hali ya joto ya kila siku ya juu lazima izidi 32.
Environment Cabinet Secretary Dr. Deborah Barasa, while acknowledging the heightened drought situation in the country, assured that the situation is manageable.
We're able to distribute food to the vulnerable communities, and with the support from the commissioners to ensure that everyone, we are fully mapping everyone, and everyone is really benefiting from the current government.
The Cabinet Secretary noted that understanding climate risk is crucial in deciding appropriate intervention mechanisms.
We have our experts at a county level who will now be working with the various sectors to ensure that everyone is well informed of the climate outlook.
Well, that is a picture from the stakeholders who are currently also meeting here in the capital today. And of course, we'll be receiving an adequate report of what is happening, especially on the weather outlook here in the country. Now, we have painted the picture of what the stakeholders are saying about the weather outlook of this country and how it has impacted various parts of the region, especially the ASAL areas where over 2 million people have been affected by the drought that is currently experienced in those particular regions, but also less focused on what is happening on the ground. A story prepared by our very own Kasichana Masha.
The prolonged dry spell in Mandera County has rendered surface water dry, increased migration of pastoral communities to the few strategic boreholes that can barely cope with the demand. In response, the County Department of Water Services has launched a monitoring and water tracking exercise.
Seeing that people are getting water quite nicely, although according to the members of the public, there's need for upscaling this program in some cases, especially the water tracking issue.
Wale ambao wamepewa hii kazi ya kuletea wananchi maji, wache tuhakikishe kwamba tumewaletea kila mmoja ile trips ambayo amepewa aweze kusupply.
Far away in Rabai constituency, Kilifi County, the pangs of hunger have driven learners out of class.
Na hiki kiangazi kinatuathiri shuleni. Watoto wanaenda shuleni wakitoka lunch hour, wakienda nyumbani hakuna chakula, wanashindwa kurudi.
Kenya Post Authority has responded to their SOS with a donation of food items, but not enough for all learners.
Kuna chakula, kesho nitatuma lori ije itoe chakula, takuja kumpatia Mheshimiwa Kenga, mpe apewe.
KPA Managing Director Captain William Ruto made the announcement during the celebration of improved performance in the 2025 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education at Jimba Primary School in Rabai. Elsewhere, the National Drought Management Authority has flagged off a peace caravan along the Garissa-Isiolo-Meru corridor to promote peaceful coexistence, negotiated grazing, and responsible sharing of water and pasture resources as drought conditions in the region worsen. Speaking during the flag-off at Modogashe Town, NDMA Chief Executive Officer Colonel retired Hared Aden urged the communities to accommodate each other and share the available natural resources.
The elders to talk to the youth within those villages, their fellow elders within those villages, so that we appreciate the issue of the need to maintain peace.
Jana zilikongamana hapa, wakalala sehemu moja, wakakaa pamoja, wakakula pamoja, wakashare ideas pamoja, jinsi ya kuendelea kuishi kwa amani.
Now, given that you've heard from the stakeholders and the people on the ground, let me get to introduce my guest at this hour so that we can converse this particular issue. We do have Dr. Pamela from the Institute of Meteorological Training and Research. Daktari, welcome and thank you for making time for us today.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
And also we do have Betty Ngeno, a Climate Justice Coordinator. Betty, karibu sana.
Asante.
And maybe we start with you, Betty. You have just heard from the people who are on the ground. You've heard from the stakeholders. Should we be worried as a country?
Yes, we should. I think we should much.
And why so?
Because in the pattern of climate now, it's changing rapidly. As we can see from in 2023, there was a really bad drought. Then comes 2024, there was flood. And now the part of 2025, the rains were really minimal. And there have not been enough rains as at now. So I think we should be worried. Yeah.
And Daktari, you were there yesterday in that particular conference. Given that you painted this particular picture for not only the millions of Kenyans who are affected in the ASAL regions, but also the impact of the changing weather patterns, maybe as a researcher, are you even worried?
Well, yes, it concerns me and other researchers, especially when we look at the trends. The scientific information that is available shows increasing intensity, severity, and the incidences of extreme weather events. The droughts are becoming many, they are becoming longer, they are becoming harsh. The floods also. When you look at the high temperatures, the temperatures are warming every other day. And what concerns us is the interventions you see being put in place, basically addressing physical health issues and things like that. But what of the mental health issues of the people that are affected, the vulnerable population? That gap worries me a lot because these are diseases that are not spoken about. They are not very well understood. There's a lot of stigma around it and lack of knowledge. And most important also, we lack the required number of professionals who can actually respond at the community level. So this becomes a concern because when these diseases go untreated, they get intensified, they progress, and of course they affect other aspects of life. When one has a mental health issue, likely they'll develop a physical illness. The person with a physical illness, because of the fear, the shame, the hunger, they will develop a mental illness. So the health and well-being of our people becomes a very big concern for us, especially with the indicators that we are getting. This year, likely, science has told us is going to be the hottest, likely. So that actually concerns us. Yeah.
And Betty, you've just heard what Dr. is saying. It's going to be the hottest season we've ever seen in this country. Maybe what impacts are we looking at? Not only on the community, but the weather itself.
I think the biggest impact that will happen is there'll be a lot of hunger, and the most affected population and the marginalized communities are the ones who will feel the heat. For example, as we have seen in that clip that was played, there are children that are already out of school. What happens to their future? What happens to mothers who are nursing, who have small children? What happens to them? Of course, they'll die out of hunger. And I think government has not done much about mitigating that, these weather events. For example, these events have been happening. For example, in ASAL areas like Turkana, the Maasai areas, and like parts of Kilifi. And I haven't seen much work done by the government. For example, there should be things like resistant crops. They should introduce things like water catchment areas whenever there is a lot of rain, so that they can use during the season of drought. Yeah.
And the impact, Daktari, before, I know you presented yesterday on the Climate Outlook Forum itself, where you stressed the approach of gender, especially in tackling some of the effects we're witnessing across the country. But in terms of the effects that it will have, not only the weather, you've just talked briefly about the community, what impact will it have on the communities interacting with each other? Because you know what will happen. The resources will be meager, and we're looking possibly at conflicts. And even Waziri talked about it yesterday.
So when you look at the aspect of gender, what are the sectors of the community that are affected? Men are affected differently women are affected differently, children are affected differently. When we look at the people living with disabilities, the effect is different from one sector of the economy to the other. The children are not going to school, likely dropping, as you have seen in that clip. Others are there, the temperatures are so high, they cannot concentrate in class. That will affect their performance in the education. When we look at the women, the lactating mothers and the pregnant women, reports exist that actually it is leading to premature birth, underweight children. A woman is not able to breastfeed the child because she has not eaten, you know. Others have to walk very far to look for water, to look for firewood. By the time they come, they start cooking, the children probably are asleep. That child will be malnourished. That woman who is getting so tired looking for resources will come tired herself, physically tired, mentally exhausted. Our life is affected. Look at the men we saw on the screen in Mandera, yes. Wajir. They are struggling to look for water for their livestock. A man watches his cows dying, one by one, one by one. What does that mean to that man? Loss of livelihood. He is supposed to feed his family. He is supposed to educate his children. What does that mean for that man, you know? Looking at the high temperatures, the people in the Juakali sector, somebody is supposed to be riding. Today we have a lot of motorbikes on our road. Most of them are men. They are not shielded anywhere. That man is exposed in the heat the whole day looking for customers. Does he get happy with that work that he's doing? Every morning he thinks, I'm going out to feed for my family, but I have to be in that heat for my family to eat. You know, it is really affecting. The sectors of the economy like food supply, food insecurity increases, lack of water increases, health becomes complicated because when there is no water, many of these families are not having enough water, clean water for drinking, clean water for using, so diarrheal diseases will be on the increase, you know. We look at malnutrition. When they are not able to feed, they will be malnourished. The congenital diseases that will emerge, you know. So it's really complicated. It's really complicated. And as it looks, it's likely not getting very better, but still we are giving ourselves hope as communities because we have to do something about it. Yes.
And as an environmentalist, Betty, what impact does it have on the environment itself? And we know where the world is heading to ensure that we are in the right trajectory when it comes to dealing with environmental matters.
I think for environment, it's the most affected. For example, with it, there will be a lot of evaporation. The water will evaporate, the grass will dry, there will be no more trees. And even the initiative for planting trees, how will they survive without water? It will be a very hard task. So I think as much it affects us, and we coexist with environment. We cannot live without food. We cannot live without vegetable, and we get them from environment. So if the drought continues, it means there will be no vegetable, there will be no grass for animals and other things. And that means also that there will be a lot of, as Dr. Arya said, the mental health issues. A lot of people will be affected, and it also increases the cases of GBV. Yeah, because, for example, in the pastoralist communities, where men move with their livestock to go to other places, they leave women behind. They become more vulnerable to even rape or even being abused by other people. Or so sometimes you find girls, you know, the roles of girls going to fetch water in the river. They go for long distances to get that water. What happens to them? You find that they trek a lot of kilometers to get water, just even 5 liters. What happens to them when dark or the night comes? They become vulnerable to GBV. And I think this is not going to end soon unless there is much interventions. As I saw the CS for environment, I said they are giving out food, but I think that's not sustainable. Yeah, it's not sustainable. What if it continues? How many people are going to feed? They need to come with a measure that is more sustainable. For example, as I had said earlier, they introduce the resistant crops to drought. They can also come up with dams in those areas where they can catch water whenever it rains. They can store a lot of water actually. But I think the government hasn't done much yet to mitigate that.
Okay. Yeah. I can see Daktari smiling. You'll also respond to that as well. But Daktari, the question I want to ask, because what Betty is arguing is very true. It's something that we've seen in this country continuously. What are we lacking? Is it the early warning systems or early actions that we need to mitigate this issue?
Well, I want to pick from where Betty has left. Of course, everyone should participate in mitigation activities, adaptation, creating resilience. It is everybody's responsibility. We cannot leave everything to government. After all, government is an institution. You know, there are other institutions that partner with the government to ensure things are happening. And when you go at the community level, we have civil society organizations. We have private sectors that recently, you have seen a lot of initiatives around climate smart agriculture, communities being taught. You have seen a lot of communities being encouraged to do water harvesting. And in fact, some of them being supplied with the tanks, you know, and being taught about water harvesting. So initiatives are being done, but of course, this issue of climate change is not only about Kenya. It is a global issue. When you look at India, you'll be surprised what is happening. Look at Europe. At times, they are experiencing very heavy rains that are abnormal, isn't it? There are areas that are experiencing even more extreme droughts than us. So it is not about Kenya. It is for all of us to think, what can we do to create, to have mitigation, to have adaptation, and to be able to create communities that are resilient, because this is not healing anytime soon. In terms of early warning, early action, early warning is ensuring that the climate information is available to virtually everybody in the community, across the sectors, across the social divides. When people are forewarned, they are able to take early action. But how are we going to give information if probably we are not having everybody participating? That's why stakeholders' involvement is very key. And at the Kenya Meteorological Department, even the National Climate Outlook Forum that is taking place yesterday and today, the director has made very extreme attempts to ensure that all sectors of the economy are brought on board. There is agriculture, water, environment, forest, health, you know, the social sectors, the finance sector, brought on board so that they can link together. Now, this weather forecast has been given. What does it mean to environment? What does it mean to agriculture? The agriculture sector group will sit down with not only people from the ministry, but farmers, people who are giving seeds, people who are giving fertilizer maybe, people who are financing agriculture activities, to sit down and discuss. This is the forecast that has been given. And remember, the forecast is different for Western region, for the Central region, and the Coast region. Yes. So they sit down and look. When they say at the Coast region, it will be below normal. What does it mean to agriculture? What crops can sustain this kind of rainfall that we are being told, that can withstand these kind of temperatures that are going to be warmer than normal? Similarly for the Western, similarly for... Then they also, the health sector looks at, sits down with the experts in climate, the experts in health, the communities, to say, yes, these are the likely diseases in this region because of this kind of temperatures. So this kind of rainfall. So who is going to be affected? Who is the most vulnerable in this region? Now, the importance of that is, if we see who is the most vulnerable, these are the people to be brought on the table to be able to understand what is the implication of that forecast to them. Because if we don't discuss this, then it means there are people who will be left out. The people living with disabilities are brought on board. How will they be affected? So that they also know what mitigation measures to put in place, what adaptation measures to put in place. So climate information for early warning, and the climate information for early action, so that all the sectors of the economy now go back. You know, there is a lead time between now and the time the season is starting. Mid-March, thereabout, as the director will give us the forecast today. Now, between now and then, we have like 3 weeks. So everybody has the responsibility to sit down in their various counties. What Kenya Met does, when the national forecast is released today, all the county directors of meteorology will go back to their counties, map out their stakeholders, and call them together, discuss this forecast has been given for the entire Kenya. What does it mean for Bungoma County? What does it mean for Isiolo County? Isiolo will discuss what has been said about them. Mandera will discuss what has been said about them and ask themselves, what systems do we put in place to ensure that we create resilience for our communities? We provide the necessary implements so that our people can be able to adopt, isn't it? So it is very, very important we have early warning for early action and stakeholder mapping, stakeholder participation, the voice of everyone, you know? When you see the men going with their cows long distances, what does that mean to the family? It means the women and the children, and especially the young ones, because the boys will likely accompany the father and the elderly men to look for pasture and the water. So the women and the girls and the old people won't be left. Will they have food to eat? Have those people who have gone that far having food to eat? You know, the challenges are multiple, but we have to sit together, think without leaving this to anyone. Everybody has to take responsibility because climate will affect, weather will affect every one of us differently. Yes.
And Betty, you've just heard Dr. Pamela talking about that particular report and how it will affect all the parts of the country. Maybe as a climate justice coordinator, how crucial will that report be in ensuring there is civic education, public awareness down in the ground? Because I know you talk to the people there.
I think that report is really important, but there is a disconnect. There's a very big disconnect between the policy level and the ground level.
Okay.
Yeah, for example, the formation of the default government was meant to reach the people in the ground, but let me say the services are not reaching there. For example, the meteorological department, you say they are in all 47 counties.
Sure.
I don't know where what they do there, but I believe that there should be community levels of those passing that information to communities, because the communities are the one affected, not the persons in the offices. Because you can come to office, formulate a policy, you say this and this, and leave the paper there. What happens to that person who needs that information? So I think there's still a very much disconnect between the policy level and the community level, and that needs to be worked on as soon as possible, because the most affected people are the one in the ground, the women, the children, the men there in the community. On how, another thing is there is misinformation and lack of information on these things, and if people have knowledge of this happens and this season is coming and these crops for this season, and if they can get those seedlings, they can be always ready. But there is no that information. They don't know what they can plant for that season, so they just you hear weather forecast in the radio or in TV, and that's all. So they don't know if they are the ones affected and if they need anything to do about it. Yeah, for example, in most communities there are also older people. What happens to them? Yeah, and another thing, in most, let me say, African cultures or in our communities, men own lands, but women cultivate. So if women don't have that information on seedlings or to plants, what will they do? Nothing. Yeah, and that's where anger comes in, and that's where men have to travel far and get maybe grass for the animals, and women get water from far. But if they have that information at community level, I think that many problems would be solved. So I think the government should work on that. They should have centers in communities where this information can be passed directly to communities, or the formation maybe of chiefs, or they should have people like that in community, every village. They say this week there have been information about this and this month there will be drought, and you need to plant sweet potatoes or bananas for that season so that they can be sustainable, and people will do that, so that people maybe cannot plant maize that cannot survive that season. You understand? Yeah.
And Dr. has also responded to Betty in terms of, she has raised a very pertinent issue. How do we bridge that policy to the planners to ensure that they are implemented, especially the county governments, because devolution was brought to address such concerns?
Well, okay, looking at the importance of the information, as I said, everybody needs to be on board, isn't it? Betty has brought the aspect of policy and the county level and, of course, the grassroots, the last mile.
Yes.
Government has made a lot of efforts to ensure that people are engaged. That's why, as I said, the Kenya Met Department is in every county. And the Kenya Met Department, their role is to produce the forecast and be able to disseminate it, but there are other sectors that have to play. That's why they are brought all together, so that they can be told to think what this means to them. And then bring the communities, the opinion leaders, the civil society organizations. I know of late, people are speaking about climate and weather. Originally, you would hear those days when I was young, when Ngwata Francis would come to the TV to give the forecast. That's the time everybody starts running to the kitchen to do it. They are not keen on the forecast. But today, people are asking for the forecast because they know what it means to them. So it is to increase the awareness at the community level. I look forward to a day probably where we can have, today we are having this mbunge ya mwananchi.
Yes.
Can we have a mbunge ya mwananchi about weather?
Yes.
You know, probably something resembling that. So that mwananchi can be able to, at that level. And that's where the chiefs come in. I have participated in Kajiado County, where the Ngao, the network of the government institutions like the chiefs, the sub-chiefs, are involved at the Embarasa point. When they call the Embarasas, the forecaster comes and is given some time to be able to speak to the people in the Embarasa. We need to have a place where women participate, so that when they go to Chama, they can actually say, hey, they have said this rain is like this. What can we plant? Instead of us buying sufurias, can we buy the things that they have said are the ones that are can persevere this kind of rainfall at this time? That kind of empowerment. The youth. Youth today, Africa is 60% the young people.
Yes.
Where are they on the table? We need to have many of them involved. Because why the youth? They have even better channels of passing information. Today, what is happening in a small incident in Lamu will be viewed by somebody in Busia, isn't it?
Yes.
Within seconds, it has spread. So if we can have the youth with their social media getting to engage with climate information so that they can be used as the channel for communicating that. Schools, we have the regional training school at the Kenya Met Department called the Institute for Meteorological Training and Research. It is the regional training school for Africa-speaking countries, English-speaking countries. We have small, short courses that can be tailored to various sectors. The business people, what does weather mean to them? We have small courses that can be tailored for them so that they come and they are taught even 5 days. The long courses also, we need many people to know about climate and weather and get involved in it. The more the information gets to the ground, the more decisions are made around weather and climate.
And of course, you can also respond to what Dr. Pamela is raising, because the youth play a critical role not only in climate but in many other areas. But what can be done to ensure they take interest? Is it that it is not taught very well, or the interest is not shown within the schools? What can be done to ensure that, to bring these youths so that they can be advocates of the climate?
I think we have a problem as a country. There's a really bad reading culture. Yeah. So sometimes maybe you have information, they are not interested to get it. But I must comment, there's Trufena. You saw her, and it caught everyone's attention, and it passed a message out there that we should take care of our environment, and we should get something to take over our environment. So I think involvement of it is very critical. As Dr. Ria said, they are the biggest population. If we can involve them, there was a program on, it was called Vijana Mtani. Yes, that's a project like that. Yeah. So they should be a project like that where they get stipends for it, because you find most of them they are unemployed, and telling someone that you go and plant trees without getting something, so they rather go to places where they can be paid something. So they will leave that one. But if they are empowered to do that, if they are empowered, they take it as a form of employment. I think we will go far the country. Yeah, because the youth, they are more energetic, and like the older population or children, and they can really pass that message of environment and take care of environment.
And Daktari, there was a question that I picked from social media. People were asking when we were continuing with the show, they're asking why these extreme weathers, because they're saying today you'll have heavy rainfall and then tomorrow we're into drought. How is this possible?
Well, science is showing that the extremes are occurring. Of course, there are very many drivers of the change in climate, isn't it? The burning of the fossil fuels, the population increase that is actually leading to a lot of urbanization, and we are removing the trees that should be cooling the environment. The high temperatures are making the water levels to rise, so we have more frequent droughts and floods happening even in the coastal regions. You have seen what is happening in the Rift Valley lakes, like Baringo. Even without a lot of rain in a certain place, it is still soils and people are being displaced. So we have a lot of drivers. It's basically the science of climate, and it is a big debate, it's a big discussion. Let nobody maybe say that there is no climate change. Everybody is experiencing, you know. It's important to understand that. I want to make mention of the importance of using other structures of the government. We recently have this structure called the community health volunteers. You know, they are going to the mashinani. If those people can be empowered with climate information, when they go, they can be able to pass it. And especially from a health perspective, when they are going to house to see what is happening, who could be sick in that family, they can even go with that information. And if they find people who are getting frequently sick, want to find out, is it because of these high temperatures? Is it because there is a lot of mosquitoes? What is the cause of these mosquitoes? The temperatures are high. Maybe there is a pool of water that is lying in the compound, so that they teach the people how to make sure that the breeding ground for the mosquitoes has been destroyed, isn't it? Then they are also able to identify, are there stresses? Is there stress? Is there anxiety? If they are not even able to treat, they can refer, so that we can have referral mechanisms that exist within the county. We need also to increase the pool of the responders. When we have people responding, many will respond, but how many of them have the psychological awareness? So that you can be able to look at this man who is in the house and not talking, this man who has become violent and he was not violent, a man who is starting to take alcohol and he has not been taking alcohol. And then you listen to the family and they are saying, you know, he used to go to graze, now he has no cows to graze. So he locks himself in the house. You get an indicator of something like likely anxiety peaking, a mood disorder. If you are not, as a community health volunteer, able to handle it, refer and ensure that that person goes for treatment. So we need to use all the infrastructure that is available.
And of course, as you respond to the same question, we're talking about the carbon footprint of our country. Maybe give us, I will ask you, Dr. the same, but give us a status update on that as well, Betty, given that that is where the world is headed, especially with the Paris Accord climate that was signed back then. Are we adhering to what was signed as a country? Where are we?
So far, some organizations are still not paying for the carbon credits, and it's really a big challenge. Especially footing of the fields for those carbon credits. So it's still a very big challenge, and it's going to affect all of us. We are going to face it rough.
Dr.
Of course, the understanding of even what is this carbon trend, how many people understand what it is, how many people are able to benefit from it, or it's a concept that is being brought to us. When people don't understand things, they watch. So it doesn't benefit them. We need to have more education, more information about the carbon trend, so that the people at the ground level can understand what does it mean, what is this all about, so that we move from policy to practice. Yes, I think that will, when we bridge this gap, people will understand and the policies will translate to actual actions that will benefit the societies that we really care for.
Also, their conservationists who raised an alarm just the other day, we did a story on that, where we have seen encroachment into wetlands because they're saying the wetlands needs to be protected because there are fewer in the country. Maybe your thoughts on that as well, and as a climate justice coordinator, what are you doing to protect those water catchment areas?
I think yesterday was the World Wetlands Day.
Yeah, yes.
Sure. Yeah, and a lot of people in the space, in the climate space, they are coming up with ideas to plant trees along the wetland areas because if we don't protect that, the rivers will try all of it. Yeah, for example, where I come from, there was a very good river. It had very clean water when we were growing up, but now it has dried up because the people have cleared trees in the wetland area. They have used it for firewood, and they don't replant. So I think a lot of education is needed, especially for communities. As I said earlier, a lot of information because they don't understand the importance of taking care of that wetland area. So someone comes up, they see a very huge tree, indigenous tree. They see firewood, they see logs for selling, and that's what they do, and they don't replace that tree. So I think there's a lot of gap that needs to be bridged, especially on education, on the importance of taking care of those wetlands, on the importance of taking care of rivers, on the importance of taking care of environment in general. Yeah.
Maybe as we're coming to a close, you can also respond to that. Why should we protect the wetlands?
The wetlands are like the lungs, is the breathing system of the entire planet. So if we mess with our wetlands, we mess with a lot of the ecosystem. Yeah, so if we mess with the ecosystem, then we bear the brunt of this challenge. But as Betty has said, people don't understand. Then again, the population growth. Yeah, originally, like in my village, you had a big, land with the 5 sons. So you could divide it between the 5 sons. And there is the place you say this one we cannot touch because it's a forest. It's not counted for anyone. But today, with the population growth, everybody is looking for where to live, isn't it? When you come to our cities today, we have planted more buildings than trees, isn't it? What does that mean? Yeah? So policy implementation, understanding of the policies by the people, so that when you are saying, I have to cut these trees so that I can plant maize, how sustainable is maize when you compare with the trees? But what is the meaning of this tree to not only the owner of that land, but the society that surrounds that, that home? So people need to be a lot of awareness creation, a lot of education around the importance of the environment, and knowing that there are species actually that will not survive in other zones, so that people can understand which species will grow better in this area, so that you don't grow trees, plant trees and they die. We have to move from planting to growing. Let it be taught even to the young people in schools. The faith-based organizations, our churches, our mosques, and other faith organizations, people trust them. The community trusts their faith leaders. Can these messages also be packaged that the faith leaders can be able to speak to them? I have seen issues of vaccination now being announced in church, isn't it? It assists from being just a health center being to the church. So the message of climate should get to the faith-based organizations because of the trust people have for their faith leaders. If this information is packaged to them, first of all, they understand, they evaluate, and what it means to the faith of the people. You can imagine somebody who has seen their crop die and they had taken a loan. Their faith leader had prayed for them that the harvest will be in pampa. Now, everything has failed. Will they believe that faith leader again?
No.
So the faith leader needs to see that as a point of contact, that I have to make sure that this person stays in the faith by living well with the environment, by understanding how to care for the environment. That is an entry point that we need to focus on.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me allow you at least 30 seconds each, given that we have come to the final leg of our conversation. Let me start with you. Talk to Kenyans who are watching you right now. What should they do to ensure our climate is better for us at the end of the day?
Thank you so much for that, and it has been a pleasure. And what I can say is that all of us have a responsibility. We all should take a responsibility of taking care of our environment. We should ask ourselves, how many times are we throwing litters? You buy a sweet, you just throw it anywhere. You buy anything, you just dispose it anyhow. And if we are cutting down trees for firewood or even logs, how many are we replacing? Or how are we taking care of them? So all of us, we have a responsibility as a community, as a country, as a person. It should start from you as a person. If it starts from you as a person, it grows. And as the coordinator for Mothers Rebellion, we believe in the care nature of mothers. If mother can understand these concepts, they can pass the knowledge to their children. So if we have information on what's happening, we should pass to your neighbor. The neighbor should pass to another neighbor. And that's how we will come out of this. Thank you.
And Dr. finally?
Wow. I would want to tell our viewers that our life is precious. And if your life is precious, then your environment is precious. We have to learn to coexist with the plants, coexist with the animals, the flora and fauna. And as individuals, as families, as communities, we all have a responsibility. Let's have our hands on the deck to think about the very small contribution you can make or the big contribution that you can make, depending on your area of location, your abilities, your capacities. Let everybody on a daily basis think environment, think climate, think sustainability. Because this is not a sport that is for only people to watch. You know, there are sports that people don't even care to understand the details about the game, isn't it? Yes. But for this game, around the environment, around climate, it is every one of us responsibility. There are no spectators in it.
Thank you so much. Dr. Pamela from the Institute of the Meteorological Training and Research, and we wish you all the best as you continue to converse that important discussions that you're happening here in one of the hotels here in the capital, and also Betty, a climate justice coordinator. And there you have it. If we do not protect our environment, we know what Mother Nature can do to us at the end of the day. We have seen its adverse effects, and also we have seen its joy as well. But that concludes our conversation. The conversation about drought mitigation continues, and we are waiting for that particular report that will guide not only us as journalists in some of the stories that will cover across the 47 devolved units, and also keeping tabs on the drought itself. That concludes our conversation. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Don't go too far. Kurunzi Mashinani is up next, and we'll be briefing you some of the stories making headlines at this hour. For now, good morning.
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
Katika Qur'an tukufu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anatuamuru tukumbushane, kwani kukumbushana kunawafaa waumini. Kwa mujibu wa hadithi, Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam anatushauri tueneze ujumbe wake angalau kwa aya moja. Basi tunatia ari kufanya ambacho ni jukumu la kila Muislamu, kukumbushana mema na kukatazana maovu. Tunakuletea mawaidha za mashehe, wataalam, maustadh, madrasa, makala spesheli na Okti Fatuma Yakub, mafunzo na historia za mitume na maswahaba, na burudani kupitia nashid. na wasifu za Munshid. Tazama Ukumbi wa Kiislamu nami Alishe kila Ijumaa saa 9:30 katika KBC Channel 1.
Using a face scan to open doors, smart locks make that possible. Being allowed to take your next exam only after passing facial recognition, some universities in India are already testing this. In China, facial recognition is used to control payments, access to buildings, even behavior. This technology is no longer futuristic, it's already here. And while it can be helpful in some situations, it can also be dangerous in the wrong hands. Let's take a closer look. Facial recognition is used for many different purposes. In some cars, all I need is a face scan and the position of my seat adjusts automatically to my personal settings. If I'm tired or distracted, a warning system notices. The software tracks my eyes, my arm movements, and even when I yawn. Clearly, it's time to take a break. Banks also use biometric data to identify customers. Some ATMs are now testing face recognition. This might sound safe, but some scammers have already found ways to bypass these security systems. Using biometric data for identification is controversial, especially when the data can be accessed by state institutions.
When authoritarian regimes use facial recognition software, the need for clear laws becomes obvious. Misidentification, vague rules around data collection, and a lack of transparency are major concerns. In China, the government stores its citizens' biometric data on centralized servers. In Xinjiang province, this data is used to monitor the Uyghurs, a predominantly Muslim ethnic minority. A vast network of surveillance cameras tracks people's movements. The United Nations has already called this use of surveillance technology a crime against humanity. In Turkey, police officers use body cams equipped with facial recognition. This allows them to identify individuals in real time. Officially, the technology is meant for identity checks, but critics worry it's actually being used to monitor activists. Under both Turkish and EU law, this kind of